You are standing in a kitchen you have never visited. Someone says a sentence you have never heard, and yet your whole body freezes. You know this moment. You have lived this exact second before, but you haven't. Not really. And that gap between certainty and impossibility is where this story begins. Scientists call it déjà vu, French for already seen. Almost everyone feels it at some point. Most people shrug it off as a glitch, a random flicker, nothing worth a second thought. But your brain does not glitch without a reason. Every strange sensation it produces is usually a byproduct of a system working exactly as designed. So, what is déjà vu actually for, and why does it feel so unsettling when it arrives? To answer that, you have to understand how your memory really works. Your brain does not store memories like a video file playing back start to finish. It stores fragments, a smell, an angle of light, the shape of a doorway, the particular sound of a voice trailing off. Then, when a new moment arrives, your brain quietly scans those fragments for a match. Most of the time, this happens in total silence. You never notice it happening. But sometimes the system hiccups, and that hiccup is the part you actually feel. Psychologist Anne Cleary at Colorado State University has spent years chasing this hiccup in a lab. Her team built virtual environments using video game software, then secretly arranged their layouts to mirror scenes participants had already seen without realizing it. The rooms looked nothing alike on the surface, but the spatial layout, the geometry, the flow from one space to the next was quietly identical. And when the two collided, people reported the unmistakable chill of déjà vu, even though they could not explain why the room felt so familiar. Here is the strange part. Cleary's research suggests déjà vu is not actually a memory at all. It is a feeling about a memory. Your brain recognizes the structure of a moment, the pattern underneath it, without recognizing the specific memory attached to that pattern. You feel certainty. You feel familiarity, thick and undeniable. But you cannot locate the source. It is recognition without recall. Have you ever felt completely sure of something you could not explain, not even to yourself? That mismatch is not a malfunction. It is a safety check. Your brain is built to notice when something resembles danger, or resembles safety, or resembles anything at all you have survived before. Déjà vu may be the exposed wiring of that ancient alarm system, firing on a false positive, but firing with all the same intensity as the real thing would carry. The alarm does not know it is wrong, it only knows the pattern matched. Cognitive scientist Alan Brown, who has spent much of his career studying this exact phenomenon, gathered decades of research from labs around the world and found something else worth noticing. Déjà vu peaks in your 20s. Then it slowly fades as you age, decade after decade, becoming rarer and rarer. That timing matters more than it seems. Young adulthood is when your brain is laying down its densest, most active web of new memories, absorbing new faces, new places, new routines at a faster rate than almost any other point in life. More raw material means more accidental overlaps between old and new. Fewer fresh fragments later in life means fewer chances for that particular kind of confusion to occur at all. There is a darker thread running through this research too. French neuropsychologist Chris Moulin has studied people living with certain forms of epilepsy who experience déjà vu constantly, sometimes dozens of times in a single day, triggered by unusual electrical activity in the brain's temporal lobe. For them, the feeling is not a fleeting curiosity you laugh off with a friend. It is relentless. Everything feels remembered before it even happens. Nothing feels new, not a face, not a hallway, not a sentence. And that extreme case reveals something quiet and important about the rest of us. If déjà vu were purely random noise, it would not cluster in one brain region. It would not spike alongside specific measurable neural activity. It would not fade with age in a curve smooth enough to plot on a graph. Instead, it looks like a system, a checking mechanism running constantly in the background. Somewhere deep in your temporal lobe, a silent auditor is comparing your present against your past, thousands of times a day, and you almost never hear from it. Déjà vu is simply the rare moment it decides to speak up. Think about what that actually means for you. Your brain is running a background process that constantly asks one single question: have I been here before? Not literally here, not this exact room or this exact voice, but something close enough in shape and pattern to be worth flagging. That process helped your ancestors recognize a watering hole that once hid a predator behind the reeds. It helped them recognize a stranger's posture that once meant danger long before words for danger existed. Pattern matching kept people alive for hundreds of thousands of years, long before anyone had a name for memory at all. You inherited that same auditor, unchanged in its basic design. It still runs quietly underneath every ordinary moment of your day. Most days it works so smoothly you never know it exists at all. It is only when the signal slips, when familiarity arrives without its source properly attached, that you catch the system in the act of doing its job. That flicker is not proof of something broken in your mind. It is proof of a system so good at its work that you only ever notice it on the rare occasion it stumbles. There is even a theory that déjà vu might function as a kind of internal fact check. Some researchers propose that the feeling arises precisely when your brain catches itself about to misfire and briefly pauses to verify the moment before moving on. In that light, déjà vu is not confusion at all. It is closer to a correction, a tiny involuntary act of self-auditing happening faster than conscious thought. Consider how rarely you actually notice your own mind working this hard. You do not feel your eyes constantly adjusting to shifting light. You do not feel your inner ear correcting your balance on uneven ground. These systems run beneath awareness because that is precisely what makes them useful. A safety system you had to consciously monitor would be too slow to save you. Déjà vu belongs to that same hidden category. It is not an exception to how your brain works. It is a rare glimpse behind a curtain that is almost always closed, a brief moment where a background process becomes, just for a second or two, visible. And maybe that is the real reason the feeling unsettles you so deeply. It is not the false familiarity itself. It is the reminder that so much of your mind operates without your permission or your knowledge, checking, comparing, filtering every waking second, and asking almost nothing of you in return. So the next time it happens, the next time a strange room feels suddenly impossibly known, do not brush it aside as nothing. You are not malfunctioning. You are catching your own memory system mid-search, comparing your present to a lifetime of stored fragments, trying, in that split second, to keep you safe, the same way it kept your ancestors alive on an open, unfamiliar plane. You are not standing in a kitchen you have never visited. You are standing inside the oldest alarm system you own, and for once you got to hear it ring.